Hello dear students, today we are going to start class 10th Social Science, History, Chapter 1 The Rise of Nationalism in Europe Part 1. The Rise of Nationalism in Europe. Students, in this chapter you will see one figure is given in the beginning of the chapter. That figure is painted by a French artist, Frédéric Soriot. He prepared a series of 4 prints visualizing his dream of a world made up of democratic and social republics, as he called them. The first print of series shows the people of Europe and America, men and women of all ages and social classes marching in a long train and offering homage to the Statue of Liberty as they pass by it. Students, in 1848, Frédéric Soriot, a French artist, prepared a series of 4 prints visualizing his dream of a world made up of democratic and social republic, as he called them. Artists of this time of the French Revolution personified liberty as a female figure. Students, at that time, the abstract ideas were personified in the shape of female figures, just like liberty, equality. Allegories were made, that is, to personify the ideas of liberty, equality, fraternity. These kind of ideas were personified by the female figures. According to Soriot's utopian vision, the people of the world are grouped as distinct nations identified through their flags and national custom. Students, here one term is here, that is utopian. You will see this utopian vision. That utopian vision means a vision of a society that is so ideal that is unlikely to actually exist. It is the imagination of a society which is so ideal, where all the things are imagined, that all the things will be equal, liberal for everyone, but that is very difficult to achieve. So students, as we were talking about the utopian vision of a society that is so ideal that is unlikely to actually exist. I told you that it is the imagination of the people that the society should be like this, equality should be there, liberty should be there, but that is very difficult to achieve. Students, according to the Soriot's utopian vision, the peoples of the world are grouped as distinct nations, identified through their flags and national custom. The countries, those they became nation state, they were having their own flags and national custom. This chapter will deal with many of the issues visualized by Soriot. Now, students, we will see here what theme was taken by the Frédéric Soriot in this painting and what he wanted to reveal through the paintings, what he has shown in this painting. Let us discuss about that. Now students, in this it is very clear that the people of Europe and America, men and women of all ages and social classes, marching in a long train and offering homage to the Statue of Liberty as they pass by it, as you can see in this figure. Students, here I told you that some abstract ideas were personified by the French artists as they had given a female figure to the idea of liberty. Here you can recognize the torch of enlightenment she bears in one hand and the charter of rights of men in the other. That is in the hands of Statue of Liberty, which is a female figure and depicts the idea of liberty. On the earth, In the foreground of the image lie the shattered remains of the symbols of absolutist institutions. Absolutist here literally a government or system of rule that has no restraints on the power exercised. In history, the term refers to a form of monarchical government that was centralized, militarized, and repressive. Students, I think you remember that in class 9th, we have seen the ruling of Louis XVI. All the powers were centralized in the hands of king. Whatever he wanted to do, he was doing all the things, whether it was political decision, economic decision, or the decision regarding the army. He was having all the powers in his hands. People were having any say in the politics. Students, in Sorio's utopian vision, the people of the world are grouped as distinct nations identified through their flags and national custom. As you can see in this figure, the people, they had taken their own flags in their hands. You can see here that these flags are taken by the people in their hands. Leading the procession way past the Statue of Liberty are the United States and Switzerland, which by this time they were already nation states. France, identified by the revolutionary tricolor, has just reached the statue. She is followed by the people of Germany bearing the black and red gold flag. Interestingly, at the time when Sorio created this image, the German people did not yet exist as a united nation. The flag that they carried is an expression of liberal hopes in 1848 to unify numerous German-speaking principalities into a nation-state under a democratic constitution. The people of Germany, they wanted to be united, they wanted a centralized government and democracy, a constitution in their country. Following the German peoples are the peoples of Austria, the Kingdom of Two Sicilies, Lombardy, Poland, England, Ireland, Hungary, and Russia. From the heavens above, Christ, saints, and angels gaze upon the scene. They have been used by the artists to symbolize fraternity among the nations of the world. So students, during the 19th century, nationalism emerged as a force which brought about sweeping changes in the political and mental world of Europe. Now people, they wanted a centralized form of government, because earlier within the same country different kings were ruling. They made different laws. Off and on conflicts were prevailing among them. Different measurement system, weight system. Because of that, the common people, they suffered a lot and they wanted a centralized form of government in that they will enjoy the equal laws, equal opportunities, liberty, all these things people they wanted. Same rule, regulations, laws should be same for everyone. These kind of hopes were there with the people, and they wanted that these dreams should be fulfilled. So that kind of ideas were shown in the figure that were discussed by the Frédéric Sorio, a French artist. And these issues we will discuss in this chapter. Mostly these issues will be discussed in the chapter. In the coming contents, we will discuss how the countries, they were divided into different territories, they became a nation state. The countries we will discuss here, that what kind of struggle they faced to become a nation state. Now student, the end result of these changes was the emergence of the nation state in the place of multinational dynastic empires of Europe. Now students, earlier there were multinational dynastic empires in Europe. Means the countries were ruled by different kings. Different territories were ruled by different kings. They made different laws. They were having their own flags, own measurement system, own weight system, own rule regulations they followed. Means they were totally different from each other. As we have seen, that kind of problem persisted in France. People, they suffered in economic field, in political field. So people, they wanted to get rid of these kind of problems. They wanted a nation state. Students, during the 19th century, nationalism emerged as a force which brought about sweeping changes in the political and mental world of Europe. 19th century, in that people, they started thinking about the nation state. The idea of nationalism emerged, which had changed the political and mental world of Europe. People, they wanted the changes in politics. They wanted a centralized form of government. The end result of these changes was emergence of nation state in the place of multinational dynastic empires of Europe. The concept of practices of modern state in which a centralized power exercised sovereign control over a clearly defined territory had been developing over a long period of time in Europe. Now, students, about the centralized form of government, people were thinking from the earlier time. But there was need to make a nation state. Now, students, little bit difference is there between the modern state and nation state. The concept of practices of modern state in which centralized power exercised sovereign control over a clearly defined territory. But in a nation state, in that the majority of its citizens and not only its rulers came to develop a sense of common identity and shared history or descent. This commonness did not exist from the time immemorial. It was forged through struggles, through the action of leaders and the common people. Now, students, this chapter will look at the diverse processes through which the nation states and nationalism came into being in 19th century Europe. In this chapter, we will see how the countries they became nation state, what kind of struggle they faced to become a nation state. Basically, in this chapter, we will discuss about the unification of three countries, that is, the unification of Germany, the unification of Italy, and the strange case of Britain. All these we discussed in the coming contents. Now, students, in source A, you will see the ideas of Ernest Renan. He had given one speech about the nation. In a lecture delivered at University of Sorbonne in 1882, the French philosopher Ernest Renan outlined the understanding of what makes a nation. The lecture was subsequently published as a famous essay entitled Qu'est-ce qu'une nation? That means, what is a nation? His idea was different than the ideas the people they had given about the nation state. In this essay, Renan criticized the notion suggested by others that a nation is formed by a common language, race, religion, or territory. Generally, people were taking these things, the commonness in these things, for the nation state. But the ideas of Ernest Renan was different than that. His ideas were like a nation state is a nation is the culmination of a long past of endeavors, sacrifice, and devotion. A heroic past, great men, glory, that is the social capital upon which one bases a nation, a national idea, to have common glories in the past, to have a common will in the present, to have performed great deeds together, to wish to perform still more. These are the essential conditions of being a people. A nation is therefore a large-scale solidarity. Its existence is a daily plebiscite. Students, plebiscite here, that the term plebiscite is given here, it means a direct vote by which all the people of a region are asked to accept or reject a proposal. Students, these kind of rights were not given to the people in earlier times in the countries. Those were autocratic countries or multi-dynastic empires were there. In those countries, the people were not having any say in the politics. There was no decision making. People were not participating in the politics. Their ideas were not valued there. So there should be plebiscite about the changes. Their ideas should be taken. The people, they should have the right to say in the politics, to say something in the politics, to give their opinion in the politics. That kind of thing should be there in the politics according to Ernest Renan. Means people, they can vote, they can accept or reject a proposal. A province is its inhabitants. If anyone has a right to be consulted, it is the inhabitant. The natives should have the right. A nation never has any real interest in annexing or holding on to a country against its will. The countries should be sovereign. There should be no control of others on the country's issues or outsiders, just like in colonial form of government was there. The existence of nations is a good thing, a necessary evil. Their existence is a guarantee of liberty, which would be lost if the world had only one law and only one master. So students, the ideas of Ernest Renan we have seen here. He wanted that there should be a nation state, but his ideas of nation state was little bit different than others, as we have seen. He thought about the nation state. A nation state, according to him, in that the people, the common people, the majority of its citizens and not only its rulers came to develop a sense of common identity and shared history or descent. They should share the common history, common past and common present also. So these kind of ideas will unite the people. They will be ready to live together in the same country. There should be less chances of conflict among the people. So he wanted to take these kind of ideas in the nation state. So students, now today we discussed about the paintings of Sorio, in that he visualized his views of democratic and social republic, in that the countries, they were having their own flags, they were marching and passing by the Statue of Liberty, they were holding their flags in their hands. They wanted to become the nation state, and the countries already they became the nation state. They were the leading countries like America and Switzerland, and other countries were following them because they also wanted to become the nation state. And all these countries, they wanted a centralized form of government. And we have also discussed about the ideas of Ernest Renan, that his ideas were a little bit different than the ideas of others. Students, you should go through the NCERT chapter and read the chapter properly, learn the new words, dates, the names, which will be very helpful to you in the exams, because in history different terms are given there and you should learn the meaning of those terms and go through the chapter again and again. That will be helpful for you, that is to understand the chapters properly and do proper revision. Thank you.